Effect ribbon and basic tools. In our previous lesson, we learned about our select ribbon and also the 5 basic tools. In this lesson, we are going to be learning about the effect ribbon and what functionality does it have to offer in Adobe Illustrator. Now, just like I said that we don't have any, let's say not 5 more tools available in Adobe Illustrator. So what we're going to do is also cover up the rest of the tools which we have on our basic tool panel. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to be opening up this preset, and after I open up the preset, I'm going to be doing is applying in maybe a photo, or we can also use, let's say, an image, or maybe let's say a shape. So first thing I'm going to do is click on File. I'm going to click on Open, and then I'm going to do is use the photo which I used in my previous lesson. Now after I open that up, I'm going to do is obviously zoom out. I'm going to do is make sure that it is fit perfect to my shape of the, let's see, the artboard. Just take it over here, take it right over here. Then I'm going to do is zoom in. Make sure to hold on to Alt so that you can zoom in. Do zoom out a bit, and there we go, we have it right over here. Okay, now as I have my photo right over here, now obviously you want to use effects on your photo because this is Adobe Illustrator. Even though if it's not a photo, you can also apply in shapes. So I'm going to do is make a rectangle and keep it right below this specific image. Now I'm going to do is change the color into, let's say, I'm going to do is first off select this object over here. Now I'm going to do is change the color of this object. Now if it doesn't work, what you can do is first off make sure that you have this box over here, and then first I'm going to do is select on this, and then I'm going to do is change the color into, let's say, whatever you want. So let's say I'm going to use this black. I'm going to keep it black. Then after I have it, then I'm going to do is going to be putting an effect on each and every one. Let's say I'm going to start off with this photo. I'm going to go off to effect, and you have this apply last effect and last effect. It allows you to apply the previously applied effect on a specific photo. Let's say I'm going to start off with 3D and materials. If you want to work with any 3D or any material effect, click on 3D and material. You'll find out extrude and bevel, revolve, inflate, rotate, material, and 3D classic. Now you can make it into or use those effects too. Let's say I'm going to use extrude and bevel. Now after I use it, you might see that sometimes it does not take any effect, but it will open up this interface for you. Now you can use this. Let's say I'm going to use fix the depth. Then I can use this revolve if I wanna. If I want to use inflate, I can. But as this is just a photo, it's not gonna work. So we have to apply this on a different element. Now I'm gonna do is click on that element, and I'm gonna do is put on extrude. Now you can see that this is how it will look like when you are applying it on a shape. Now if I use revolve, it will change its shape and also the POV, and then it will look a lot more different. But you will be able to revolve it according to your need. So I'm going to press on revolve, and you can see this is how it works. Now you can revolve it according to your need. You can see this is where it is. Now when you hold on to the path over here, you can click on this, the path, and you'll be able to rotate it according to your desire. Now I'm going to just keep it somewhere around 0 so that I can use it whenever I want. Now the revolving angle, which angle do you want? You'll be able to fix that. Now you can see only 75% of it. Now I can also use inflate if I want to. Now you will see that it will change its, how it looks like. Then I'm going to do is change the path of how this works. I'm going to do select on this rotation. I'm going to do is rotate it, and this is basically how it works when you use inflate. Now you can also make it plain if you want to, but it will also look 3D. Okay, then you can also apply caps, bevels, then custom rotation. You can fix it from over here. You can fix it from over here. It's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. Then we have is this materials. Now if you want to apply a material, you can also do that and make it how it looks like. This is the base material. It is how it's going to look like, but you can also apply different type of shades, different type of, let's say, surface, and how it will look like. Either it's rough or smooth. It's going to be depending up to you how you're going to work with it. And you can also apply in a bit of roughness on your specific element. Now let's say I'm going to do is fix it or make it smooth. You can see that this is very smooth now. You can also make it metallic if you want to. You can see that this is how it will work. I can go down and this is basically it. And the last one we have is this lighting. Okay, you can fix out the lighting. Now if you want to use diffuse, you can also use that. If I want to use top left, I can also fix that. I can also use right. It's going to be up to me how I'm going to work with it. You can fix the intensity, the rotation, then also the height, and also the softness all at the same time. So this is basically how this 3D material works in Microsoft, or let's say Adobe Illustrator. Now let's go off the effect again, and then we are almost done with all of them. But the last thing we have is 3D Classic, where we have is extrude and bevel, revolve, and rotate. Well, these are the total classic ones. You can fix it from over here. This is basically how it works. You can also fix it from over here like this, dragging this cube. You can also fix it from over here by fixing how it looks like, and you can also fix the rotation vertical. Okay, it's going to be up to you. Then you can press on cancel if you want to discard how it looks like. Okay, so we are basically done with the 3D materials. Now you can see that you will be able to apply the previous effects that I applied. This is the last effect, and you can also apply the last effect. Okay, then we have is convert to shape. You can convert a specific element into a shape. Let's say this one, I'm going to do is click on effect. I'm going to do is click it to, let's say I want it to be a rectangle. I'm going to press on OK, and you'll basically see that this has just turned into a rectangle. This is not an image anymore. This is a shape. Okay, then we can go off the effect again and then convert to shape, and you can turn it into ellipse too. Let's do the same thing over here. I'm going to click on this object, click on effect. I'm going to do is convert to shape. Now I want it to be rounded rectangle. Now you can see I have rounded corners on each and every one, like part of it. You can fix out, or if you want absolute or relative, it's going to be up to you. Now I'm going to use relative and press on OK. Now if I want a rectangle one, I can also fix it according to my need. Now let's say I'm going to use rotate it and see how it looks like. Okay, this is basically how it works. You can see the anchor is not at a specific point of the shape. That is why it is looking like this, that it is kind of jumping, right? But the middle part is over here, okay? And this part is a bit bigger, or this part is a bit bigger than the other part. So that is why it's looking like it is moving. Now let's go off the effect again. And then we have is ellipse. If you want to turn it into ellipse, you can also turn it into ellipse, apply new effect, and there we go. It is now ellipse. So this is basically how it works in Adobe, or let's say Adobe Illustrator. Okay, you can see that there is a bit of circular, tension over here on the top or on the corner. You can see how it looks like. Okay, then I'm gonna do is go off the effect again, and then over here I'm gonna do is go off the crop marks. Now you can find out the crop marks, or you can mark it up whenever you want. You can see that these are the marks that I need, and you can see these are the marks that are going to appear up. Okay, so these are the crop marks, and these are the parts which is going to be outside of the exact shape. Now if I do is increase the size, it will increase, but obviously these will also increase, and also the shape. So it's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. Now let's go off the effect again, and then we have is distort and transform. From distort and transform, you can apply in distortion. Let's go off the free distort. Now we can change or apply the distortion according to my need. I'm going to press on OK, and the distortion will be applied. That is the free distort. You can see it over here. Those are already applied. But what we're going to do is go off the effect again. I'm going to use distort and transform. Then I'm going to use pucker and bloat. I'm going to do is make it bloat a bit. Let's say I'm going to use increase the size. You can see now this is bloating and this is puckering up. So it's going to be up to you how you're going to use this bloat or pucker. Make sure to use it according to your need and according to desire. You can get a preview to how it looks like. This is basically how it looks. What I'm going to do is put in cancel because I don't need that effect. Then I'm going to do is go off effect again, and then we have is roughen. If you want to roughen up your element, you can see how it looks like. You can fix the size. You can fix it if you want relative or absolute. And you can also apply the details if you want to. It's going to be up to you. You can just go through and apply in a couple of effects and also fiddle through it so that how it looks like, you will get the exact idea. Now I'm going to go off the effect again, and then we have is this transform. You can transform that element into something different. You can scale it, you can move it, you can rotate it, and we have other options which you will be able to select. And you can also select the POV where you want it from. Let's say this is the middle and I want it on the corner. I can also select that. I want it at the top, okay, at top middle, or if you want it from the bottom right corner, it's going to be up to you. When you press on OK, you'll basically see that there is no change, but when you are using a specific part to represent it on or embed it on, you'll basically see only the left bottom corner or whichever part you selected will be filled or be used with that, okay? Like I'm gonna do is change the color. Just click on this. I'm gonna do is change it to maybe a different one if I can, but if it doesn't work, I'm gonna do is active color is black. So let's try using a bit of gradient. Let's see how it works. If the gradient works, it will be looking a lot more better. You can see it rendering 3D and materials effect. Now, after it is done rendering, it will apply in the effect. If it doesn't work, we're going to start off, or let's say we're going to still use this solid color because solid color is also quite good. Now, what I'm going to do is click on fill with X over here. And then let's try a different color from over here. Let's say I'm going to do select on this red, press on OK. And let's see if the red is being applied. You can see that the red has been applied a bit. Now let's change the other color which we have over here. I'm going to do is select on this color over here. I'm going to do is make it dark red or dark brownish. I'm going to press on OK and wait for it to render a bit. And after it has been rendered, let's check how it kind of looks like. If it does look good, then it's good, okay? So we're done basically on this. Now let's do is go off over here. And you have the strokes over here. You can select the strokes to change the color whenever you want. And you can see that this is how it will look like. And this is how it looks, okay, after we got our result. Now let's go off the effect again. And then I'm going to go off over here. You'll be able to tweak it up too. It's going to be up to you. Now let's tweak it a bit. You will see the interface will appear on your screen. And you can see that the progress, or it is being in progress. And after the rendering is done, I will show all, or let's say I'm going to just fiddle with it a bit and let's see how it works. Let's say I'm going to use do you want to continue and press on OK. Now for my screen, you can see that I have applied in the tweak and you can also see how it works. Well, this basically just turns my shape into a rectangle. Okay, now you can like renderize it if you want to. Now we're going to go off the effect again, and then we're going to do is go off to distort, and the last one we have, or the last two we have, is twist and tweak. Now you can fix up whichever angle you want to twist it to, press on OK, and that will be applied to that specific element or object which you have. Now I'm going to do is click on fill. I'm going to do is find out the color and use whichever one you want. Okay. Now you can see that there is a bit of tilt on each and every one of them. I'm going to press on cancel, press on V, and you can see that there is this tilt over here, right? Now you can go off the effect again and then go off to path or distort again. And the last one is zigzag. So make sure to select the object first. You want this over here. I'm going to select on that element, go off effect, go off the distort and transform and find out zigzag. And you can see this is how the zigzag works. I'm going to press on cancel, but if you want to apply it, you can apply it whenever you want. So it's going to be up to you according to your desire. Now let's go off the next one, which is path. Now the path is going to be how the path you want to be. If you want offset path, outline object, or outline stroke. First off, click on the element, click on effect, click on, let's say, path. And if you want offset path, click on offset. And now you want to fix it up. Okay, let's say I'm going to do is pick on 10, and you can see that there it's the outside offset after, or let's say outside of this actual line which we have over here. I'm going to press on cancel, but if you want to apply it, you can do it if you want to. Then we have this outline object. We can also outline the actual object of the outline. Now you can see that it is basically at the outer part of the shape instead of being inside. Then the next one, or the last one we have, is going to be the outline stroke. You can apply an outline stroke if you want to. First off, wait for the interface to open up. If it doesn't open up, what you're going to do is go off over on effect again, go off to path and click on outline strokes. And you're going to do is apply a new effect, and you're going to wait for a while until that appears up. And you'll basically see the outline stroke will appear up on your actual elements. You can see it over here. This is how it is. Now, if I click on over here, you can see that this is basically not the one we needed. Now you can also curve it up if you want to. You can fix it up according to your need. And even though you can see the effect is still there. Now let's go off to effect again and then go off to find out pathfinder. Now you can find out the path whenever you want and how do you want it. If you want to add it up, if you want to intersect, if you want to exclude, subtract, minus, back, it's going to be up to you. Let's show you a couple of them. We're not going to be showing you all of them. So let's start off with the add. Now, if you want to add it up, you have to first off apply in another layer, press on OK, and then you're going to wait for a bit until that has been applied or when you want to start working with it. Okay. You can see that there is a bit of curve over here, okay, at the same time. Now let's go off to effect again, and then we're going to use find out pathfinder. Now you're going to use find out divide. Now if you want to divide it, I'm going to use to edit the current layer, double click on the name of the effect in the appearance panel. Now from the appearance panel, this will apply another instance of this effect. Apply new effect and press on OK. Okay, then what we're going to do is you have to find out two different layers of object. You're going to do select it over here, click on, let's say I'm going to do select on effect, go off the pathfinder, do find add trim, do select on apply effect, appearance panel, press on OK. Let's say you're going to do is first you have to select both of them, click on effect, I'm going to do is go off the pathfinder, minus back, press on OK. And if you have two layers of object overlaying each other, you'll basically see the difference on like both of them, okay? Now, what I'm going to be doing is clicking on this element again, and then as we're done with our pathfinder, as you have to use layers if you want to use pathfinder, then what we're going to do is go off the effect again, and then I'm going to do is rasterize the effect so that it turns into a photo. Now, as two of them are selected at the same time, both will be rasterized at the same time. You can fix out the PPI, which is going to be our resolution, then fix out your background if it is transparent or white. If you want something like a PNG and you don't want any background, make sure it is transparent. But if you want a background and you can remove it later on, then you can do is select on white and then remove it. Okay, so after you're done, you can also create a clipping mask if you want to and press on OK, and that element will turn into a photo. Okay, you can see it over here and you won't be able to select it, okay, like this. But even though these are into a photo right now, because these are both rasterized and can be presented anywhere. What I'm going to do is press on Ctrl Z. I'm going to do is keep them unrasterized because I don't want them. Now, when I unrasterize them, you can see the effect that those do not have rough surfaces anymore, and those are very smooth. Now let's go to effect again, and then we have is this stylize. You can drop shadow, feather, inner glow, outer glow, round corners, and scribble. Let me just show it to you. When you want to drop shadow, you can fix on anything and press on OK, and you'll basically see that there will be a shadow underneath them. Okay, you can see it over here. Now, if I go off the effect and go off the stylize, drop shadow. Now, I also want a preview. You can see it over here. There's a shadow. So this is how you'll be able to apply in a shadow. Now the next one is going to be, let's say, the feather. If you want to apply in a bit of feather, you can see the outside is a bit, smoothened up. You can apply it too if you want to. Whenever you want, you can just go off to stylize and apply it. Then we have is a bit of inner glow. You can fix out the color. Let's say we also have a preview. You can see on the outside we have this. What I'm going to do is make sure that instead I'm going to do is keep it on center glow, and you can also put an effect on edge glow. And you can also fix the blur if you want to. You can also keep the blur if you want to. You can see how it looks like and press on OK if you want that. Now the next one is going to be outer glow. Now when you press on outer glow, now I'm going to do is fix out the blur or fix out the opacity. That's going to be up to you. Now you can also change the color into something different. Let's say I'm going to use maybe somewhere around this, press on OK, and then you're good to go. We have a greenish type of outer glow. Now I'm going to go off the effect again, and then we have is round corners. If you want to apply round corners on each and every one, what I'm going to do is keep it like this or maybe like this. It's going to be up to you. But you can also do the same process in a different way. You have these corners over here. If you've seen my previous videos, you already know. Hold on to any one of them and you can just drag it in the center or at the outer side so that it looks round. But if you apply rounded corners from go into effect, you will not be able to make it any more pointy. Okay, now let's go off the effect again, And then we're going to do is find out SVG filter. You can also apply an SVG filter, which is Smart Vector Graphic. You can also do that. And the advantage of using SVG filters is that when you apply it or when you use this SVG, your resolution or any of the item will not lose any resolution. It will not break or get distorted, even if you increase it out of its resolution or even decrease it. So it's going to be up to you if you want to apply it, or you can also import your SVG filters whenever you want. And then you can also find out the warp. If you've seen my previous lessons, you already know how we used warp in our object ribbon. You can see it over here, object, and we warped up our shape from over here. You can see it over here, text warp and all of them. Well, this works basically the same. When you go off to effects and you go off to warp, you have this arc, lower arc, upper arc, and all of them, even fisheye. Now let's use this arch over here and press on OK, and you can see the arch has been applied as an effect, right? So this is basically very simple. Now let's go off to effect again, and let's go off to effect gallery. Now, if you want to go off the effect gallery, you will basically find out all of the effects, which you can find out over here, and you can see effect gallery 100%. Now, you can go through each and every one. You can see it like this, neon glow, maybe this, film grain, paint, plastic warp. Let's just use the photo for this. I'm going to just click on this photo. I'm going to go off to effect and find out effect gallery. Well, all of the effect which we see on the downside of, let's say, the whole thing is going to be appearing over here. I'm going to use, first off, zoom out a bit, zoom in a bit more. There we go. We have it perfect. Let's go through a couple of them. You can see smudge sticks, watercolor, under painting, and all of them. What I'm going to do is, you can see that this is being rendered until it loads up. The effect will not be applied. So I'm going to do zoom out a bit. And you can see this is how it looks like on watercolor. And we also have rough pastel. You can see this is how it will look like. You also have paint daubs and also plastic wrap. Then the next one we have is the brush strokes. Let's say I'm going to do is remove this brush strokes, and I'm going to do is find out, use whichever one you want. Let's say I want to use this sprayed strokes. You can also apply that and see how this works. Then let's go off the distort. If you want to apply any distortion to your photo, you can also apply it and check how it kind of looks like. This is glass, so this is how it will look like, an ocean ripple. Then we also have sketch, all of the sketch patterns, which and how it looks like. Then also we have stylize, which we have is glowing edge only. And the last one we have is texture. You can also apply in texture, grain, mosaic tiles, texturizer, stained glass, patchwork, and all of them. Okay, so it's gonna be up to you. And you can also fix out the cell size like this. You can see the cells are now increasing. You can fix out the border thickness. You can fix out the light intensity. It's going to be up to you how you're going to work with it. And you can also see the stained glass is being used. Okay, now you can also import a couple of filters from online or Adobe stocks, and you can use them whenever you want. So we are basically done with this effect option or effect, let's say ribbon. And the last one we have is going to be our video. You can also see deinterlace and NTSC color. Well, these are a bit advanced, but these are basically effects when you are using any video or any GIF or animation in Adobe Illustrator. So we're going to do is skip these parts, and we're going to go off to the last tools or the basic tools of Adobe Illustrator. So we ended up on the slice tool and also about the next, which is going to be our slice selection tool. Now the next tool which we have is going to be our hand tool. Well, you can go off and navigate through Adobe Illustrator by using this tool. You just have to hold onto your mouse and click on your mouse or your left mouse key, and then you'll be able to drag it left and right, top and bottom. Now on your right hand, we have is rotate view. You'll be able to rotate it if you want to, but one thing is that, your view is just basically being rotated, but when you print it out, obviously, or when I get the output, it will obviously be on 0, or let's say it's just going to be the same, the straight way. Then the next one we have is going to be our printing tile tool. Now you can fix out whichever tile you want to use. So let's say I'm going to select this part. You can see this part. Okay, this part is going to be my printing tile, and only this part will be printed out. And as this is our printing tile, let's say I'm going to use is, let's say here, I only want this part to be printed. So only up till here is going to be printed out. So this is basically how it works on this printing tile tool. Now the next one we have is the zoom in and out. You can see when you see that there's a plus, obviously it will zoom in, and when you press on Control or Alt, you will basically see that it will turn into the minus, and when you click on it, you will zoom out. Now you can also zoom in and out by different methods, obviously, which I use most of the time, is that I hold onto Alt and then I use the scroll key to zoom in and out. Okay, basically the Alt key. You have to keep that thing in mind. And then we have is this color palette option. Now this is the basic color palette, which is going to be our primary, and this is going to be our secondary. So I'm going to do is first off click on secondary. I'm going to go off the color guide. I'm going to do select on any of the color, which is going to be our secondary color. Okay, now in our secondary color, what you can do is first off I'm going to click on this brush tool, and obviously you will see that it will be black. Okay, I'm going to do is click on this, and you will see that this is not working right now, but what I do is click on this brush. I'm going to do is make another file, click on new, do is make another one so that I can use my brush whenever I want. Press on create, and as I've created it, I'm going to do is use this over here. Now you can see that there's a black color, right? But if I use or apply in a different color over here, what I'm going to do is swatch it up, just click on it. I'm going to do is change it to red, press on OK, and you can see this is going to be press on X or select on this so that you can swap in color, or you can click on this Shift X so that you can swap in color, and you'll basically find out that it will turn different. And if it doesn't, what you're going to do is select it from over here, and then you'll be able to change it from over here. Even though if it's still working on black, what you can do is go off the brush over here. You can also fix the brush, whichever type of brush you want to use, and there are also a couple of different type of brushes, which you will basically find out from over here. And you can also select the color, whichever one you want. And I'm going to do is find out different one. What I'm going to do is go off over here. You can see it. Use yellow, but still this is black because this is going to be our brush tool. Now what you can do is go off to pencil or pen tool, and then also change it how it works. Okay, now you can also right click on it. What I'm going to do is click on this pen tool, which I have. Let's say pencil tool. I'm going to do select on yellow. You can see how it works. Okay, you'll be able to apply in the color whenever you want. Now you can also change how it looks like. Let's say I want red, and this will turn into red. Now you can also select a different color palette at the same time. If you want it back to default like black and white, which is it most of the time, then it will turn back into black and white back again. Okay, so it's going to be up to you whichever one you're going to use. Then we have is color, gradients, and then we have no fill. So basically when you're using color, it will give you a solid fill, but if you're using gradient, it will give you a gradient fill. Okay, so you can use gradients whenever you want. What I'm going to do is make a shape. Just make a shape over here, and then you can see the gradients. Now if I press on black and white, it will turn into black and white. What I'm going to do is use black. I'm going to do is swatch it up, press on OK, and I'm going to do swatch it up like this, and there we go. You can see the color has changed. Okay, then we have is this draw normal, which is going to be, you'll be able to switch modes, draw behind, and also draw inside. Now let's say I'm going to do is click on shape. Now I'm going to do is first off, which is going to be draw normal, right? It is on normal. Now what if I say I want to draw behind? Now if I draw this, it will be behind that specific box. Now if I use this draw inside, I will be able to draw it inside there. Now I'm going to do is you'll not be able to select the one underneath because that has been drawn underneath. So you'll be able to select like where you want to apply it. Like if you don't want to like arrange the panels, which one you want above, which one you want, behind, like taking it below and taking it forward or front. So you can just directly apply that by clicking on these options, and you'll be able to do that. Then the last one we have is change screen modes. You can like keep it on presentation, normal screen with menu bar, and also full screen mode is up to you. If you keep it full screen, if you want to get back to how it was, press on escape, and then you will basically see all the tools will be appearing up again. And then on a three dot, you will be able to edit in your toolbar whatever tool you have over here. Well, you can see that as I'm using Essential, okay, or let's say Adobe, let's say I'm going to go off the Windows again and go off the workspace, as I'm using Essential Classic. So most of the tools are over here. Let's say all the tools are over here, okay, except for the commands and a couple of them. So now you know about all the basic tools about Adobe Illustrator. And as we are also done with our effect ribbon, in our next lesson, we're going to learn about the view ribbon and also our window ribbon at the end. So let's move on to our next lesson.